What's up, guys? We are back with another video. You could call this an enhancement of a previous video where the floodlights that we previously had that served as our auxiliary lights, the brackets broke. Initially, it was the left one where the bracket snapped and then the light was just dangling, so we decided just to pull it off with the connectors that we had. I just now realized I left upstairs. With the connectors that we had, we were able to just do a quick disconnect, and then we sealed it up with electrical tape and we zip tied it to the frame of the bike because we were planning on going to Home Depot to pick up another bracket. They have tons of stuff at Home Depot. We figured we'd just find something that works, that would get the job done, and we just never did. And shortly after, about a couple weeks later, then I heard a lot of vibration coming from my bike, and I was not sure what it was. Initially, I thought it was the M8 gas cap, which if it's happened to you, you know it's a thing. It rattles. It's just a weird thing that does. But it wasn't, because I would cover that and it would still hear vibrating. I couldn't figure out what it was, and then I looked down and then I noticed the other auxiliary light moving a little bit, and then we put our hand on it. Sure enough, the vibration stopped. So there went the other bracket. So essentially, both of them broke, but the lights themselves still worked. It was just the bracket. So we have them. I'm not sure what we're gonna be doing with them. We thought about putting them onto the van or just holding on to them, maybe putting them on OfferUp and selling them. And that's where we started exploring Amazon once again, looking for auxiliary lights, just kind of curious what we were gonna do with that. But what did we get? We ended up finding something pretty cool. We'll show y'all here in a bit. We have one that's roughly wired up. What we got are these 4-inch light pods. They're from Ambother. They are multifunction, which I was curious about. And we plugged them in. I'll show y'all here in a bit. They're pretty sweet. All the links for these will be in the drop down below. So feel free to check them out. We are a part of the Amazon affiliates. So anything that you do purchase helps the channel and myself. And so here it comes with this packet. It came with two, one for each light, and it has this, we'll just pull it out here in a bit. So this is the light. You have amber here in the center, and then you have your floods here on the outside. It's a small little light bar of a light pod, and it has these two nuts here, and that is what connects to your bracket. And so the way that sits, you just connect some bolts that came with it to these little washers, and then you can adjust how the light sits if you want it higher up, if you want to face it more towards the ground, and so forth. And then this top portion connects to the crash bar. I'm gonna call it the C-clamp. Now let's take a look at the bike, and that way you can see what we're talking about. There's a light pod, and then on the crash bar is that C-clamp that we picked up off Amazon. And then there is the rough connection that we just did. We still had the connectors on there from the relay, and then these are just the bare connectors that we'll be adding the spade connectors to it. The different functions, there's a solid white, there's the amber, which I'm really excited about. I think that's gonna be our daytime running light. Then you have white and amber. You have a white strobe. You have a yellow strobe. You have a white and yellow strobe. And then you go back to white. Whichever one you want to leave it on, you're good to go. That's with the bike on. If you're curious about how we wired it up, we do have a previous video where you can go check that out. And that was from when we initially installed those 7-inch auxiliary lights, which are bigger than the headlights. So it just looked like, essentially it's the Harley Pan American of what it could have been. And now comes the time to adding the connectors to this and plugging it all back in and getting it ready to go for Sunday's ride. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, bump over and hit that bell to be notified of any future videos when they drop, as soon as they drop. Now, let's get to throwing this bad boy on. Is going to be cable management along the frame like we did last time, but before we do that, we're going to go wrap with electrical tape. That way it's protected from the elements. put the seat back on, and we're good. And again, just to recap what our setup is, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how it looks as well as the trigger on what we have. We have a switch on the side of the dash. So here is how it looks. Here is the wiring where it led up. It goes up underneath this dash. And we ended up cutting a hole right there for this trigger button. And that way you can turn on the lights when the bike is not even on. But you have to remember to turn that off because then your battery will be dead. And we have the fuse right here with everything that came with it. Here's where it goes, and this portion goes underneath the tank itself. It's clean. We have a little bit of extra wiring, kind of just getting crazy there. Here is for the two-wheel audio where we have a piggyback onto our daytime running light. It goes up there. And that's how it looks with the light. Minimal, not quite as loud or noticeable as when we had the 7-inch fog lights. It looked cool. It was a different look than what you see here in Central Texas, and we would be at bike nights and people would stop and look, whoa, that's different. What is that? I mean, someone would hate it, someone would like it, they'd say it would be different, but overall, it was just to do it. We didn't have a real purpose as to why. But again, added visibility. That's why I really like that these do have the amber function, because we're gonna use it as our daytime running light. We're gonna run the yellow during the day. It's gonna be the dang cool. It's just added visibility. It's just something that I've been real conscious of lately with the more distractions that we have as drivers. I'm included myself. And that's gonna do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. While you're there, bump over and hit that bell to be notified of any future videos when they drop, as soon as they drop. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good one.